One man versus the FBI. The unbelievable tale of this savvy Ukrainian hacker is something straight out of a Hollywood blockbuster. Born in the Ukrainian city of Zhytomyr, it didn't take long for Maxim Popov to discover his passion for computing. After perfecting his skills on his school's Poisk 1 computer and binging on cyberpunk fiction and the 1995 film Hackers, starring Angelina Jolie, Popov spent his teenage years working towards his aspirations to become a computer hacker. When Popov's dad bought his son his first PC at 15, he could never know the outrageous career his son would follow. With the lack of tech jobs available, hacking was an attractive proposition for many young computer-savvy programmers. Among them was Popov, whose real talent lay in his social ability to manipulate people. He would first utilize this talent by stealing American credit card numbers and then calling up American cell phone and computer retailers in a near-perfect American accent and request the accounts to be cashed out directly to him. Popov had them fooled until they saw a pattern emerge of Eastern European shipping addresses, causing that revenue to dry up pretty fast. Popov next turned his attention to extortion. With the help of a crew, Popov broke into well-known U.S. digital companies' frameworks and stole their data. They stole 38,000 customers' credit card data from eMoney, a former electronic payment provider. Then, 16,000 bank account details from Western Union were added to the haul. Using the stolen data as leverage, Popov contacted the companies offering to put a stop to the intrusions and to destroy the stolen information on the one condition that they would hire him as a security consultant, with fees for this role typically being between $50,000 and $500,000. eMoney had a trick up their sleeve, as they were secretly in contact with the FBI. Using this collaboration, the FBI began collecting valuable information on Popov. Meanwhile, Popov was going through troubles of his own. With tensions and the threat of violence rising in his hometown of Zhytomyr, Popov decided to make a drastic decision. He was going to move to America, face up to a slap on his wrist for his crimes, and then work as a security expert for the US. Afterwards, he would create a startup company and begin to bring in the big bucks. At least that was the plan. The FBI appeared compliant over the phone, but they clearly had other plans. When Popov landed in the US, he was greeted at the airport by FBI agents and was quickly arrested. Thrown in a county jail, he was given two options. Either he became an FBI informant and would rat on his other hacker buddies in the East, or he would face serious jail time for his self-confessed crimes. Understandably, he chose the former. They set up Popov in an online chat room and got him to converse with his fellow hackers and carefully monitored his every message. It was all going great for them until 3 months later, when they had the translations on the FBI desks. They discovered that Popov was warning his hacker counterparts that he was compromised. Through conversing in Russian, the warnings went silently under the FBI's watch. Throwing him in jail to face his past charges, it looked like that a life behind bars was all that awaited Popov. Meanwhile, hackings increased in volume at the turn of the century with a boom in technology and the creation of the internet. This was spearheaded by the debuting of the site Carter Planet coming onto the scene in 2001. The site was a paradise for buying and selling credit card numbers, passwords, bank account details, and even identities. One up-and-coming computer crimes agent by the name of Ernest E.J. Hilbert took notice. Hilbert saw Popov's native Russian tongue and cybercrimes expertise as a masterstroke in their fight against Carter Plane. Seeing that this would allow the FBI to take down the website and arrest more seasoned and cautious cybercriminals, Hilbert approached Popov. Hilbert won over Popov by putting forward a simple promise that he wouldn't have to rat on his hacking friends. This, mixed with a few compliments about his computing skill set, worked a charm. Although the looming prospect of staying behind bars probably made Popov's decision pretty easy. Hilbert and other FBI agents took a shackled and handcuffed Popov from his cell every day to a nearby office building which had desks full of computer screens. This routine became known as Operation Ant City and involved Popov posting on Carter Planet pretending to be a big-time Ukrainian scammer who wanted to buy stolen credit cards. Using the alias Dennis Pinhouse, Popov was contacted by someone who went by the name of Script, who offered $400 of stolen credit card numbers. The FBI made the purchase. Script then sent the contraband to California, and through sending contraband to U.S. soil, he committed a federal crime in U.S. jurisdiction. This persuaded Ukrainian police to intervene and make an arrest. In 2003, Data International Processing was hacked, resulting in 8 million credit cards being exposed. Through Operation Ant City, Popov was able to track down a 21-year-old hacker who goes by the name of Rez. Rez claimed to know the 3 hackers responsible for the DIP leak. Popov offered to buy all 8 million cards for $200,000, but Rez was suspicious as Popov had only made small transactions beforehand. In a bid to convince Rez that Popov had that kind of money at his disposal, Hilbert hatched a plan. In the hidden back room of a bank, the cooperating bank staff brought out $200,000 in $100 bills from a vault for Hilbert, Popov, and other FBI agents. Popov stood behind a table filled with the cash and held some of the wads in his hands as he showed it off on a camera. The plan worked, and Rez was convinced. After Rez sold the credit card details to the FBI, Popov lured him into a trap. Knowing most hackers just want a job, Popov told Rez that the company he worked for was hiring. As a thank you gesture, Popov guided him towards the fake company's website. After applying on the site, which was of course phony and set up by the FBI, Rez made the fatal mistake of using his real name and revealing his identity. The whole operation removed 400,000 stolen credit cards from the black market and alerted over 700 companies that they had been breached by Eastern European hackers, resulting in millions of dollars of foiled scams. Throughout the operation, Hilbert and Popov formed a trust and soon whipped up an unusual friendship. This was evident when on Thanksgiving, instead of working a 10-hour workday, Hilbert brought Popov a projector, a copy of Lord of the Rings, and a full Thanksgiving meal. After 8 months behind bars and his cooperation on Operation Ant City, Popov was allowed to stay at a home in California that the FBI had rented for him. However, Popov couldn't adjust to life in the Golden State and wanted to go back to Ukraine. The judge allowed him to go back to his home country if he returned quickly to California to serve out the remainder of his supervised release. Hilbert drove Popov to the airport knowing that he would never see his friend again. Although, as a gesture of goodwill, Popov would continue to send Hilbert a stream of tip-offs from Ukraine. In Hilbert's battle against hackers, one of these tip-offs led Hilbert to a Russian hacker gang called X-25. X-25 had hacked AT&T and even the FBI itself. Popov's tip-offs revealed an engineering student in Petersburg called Leonid Idol Sokolov was behind the attacks. Hilbert brought Sokolov in for questioning and got him to admit to the wrongdoings. All was not how they seemed, as the good faith tips from Popov were all part of a broader plan. Popov was working together with X-25 and Sokolov as a part of a black hat plan. X-25 would do the hacking and Popov would step in and save the day for a hefty fee, of course. Through throwing around Hilbert's name as someone who can vouch for the hacker's credibility, Popov was masterfully sabotaging the FBI from the inside, potentially as revenge for them double-crossing when he made the trip over to the land of the free. For the AT&T job alone, Popov received a tasty $150,000. All the while, Hilbert was being hounded as he was under investigation for conspiracy to commit fraud against the government and for allegedly leaking law enforcement information through his correspondence with the crafty Ukrainian. Despite all this, Popov bizarrely still considers Hilbert a friend, stating, "He was the only friend I had. I'm still a black hat and I never changed, but who cares? I still love him." Manipulating and tarnishing someone's reputation is a strange way to treat a friend. Although they do say to never trust a criminal, especially if he's called Maxim Popov. Can you ever trust a criminal? Please share your thoughts down in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to this channel, and as always, thank you so much for checking out the Trend Dive. We'll see you next time. Have a great day.